Good morning, everyone. My name is Leanne Capagrossi, and I am part of the marketing team here at MSM Solutions. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar titled From Downtime to Uptime, Proactive Device Management Strategies with 42Gears. We have an exciting session for you today, but before we begin, just a couple of notes. First, this session is being recorded, and we will share that link with you later this week. So please feel free to pass it along to your colleagues when you receive it. Everyone's lines will be muted, so if you have a question, please type it in the Q&A or chat. We will do our best to get to all your questions today, but if we run out of time, please know that we will respond to you via email with an answer if we are not able to address it during the broadcast. I would like to go through the agenda real quick here. And today we're just going to be introducing our presenters, give you a little bit of information about MSM Solutions, and then get right into 42Gears device management. We'll have a live demonstration, and then even a special offer for you and some Q&A at the end. Next, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters today. And first up is Nick Tarr, one of our business development specialists here at MSM Solutions. Nick helps our customers with barcode and RFID solutions that boost inventory visibility and streamline operations. With a deep understanding of supply chain efficiency, Nick works closely with customers to transform paper-based manual processes into automated workflows. His practical, results-driven approach has made him a trusted partner for businesses seeking greater accuracy and productivity across their operations. From 42Gears, we have Don Stevens, National Channel Sales Manager. Over his 35-year career, Don has held sales and leadership roles with value-added resellers, OEM manufacturers, and independent software vendors. During that time, he has seen transformational change within the AIDC industry and leverages his extensive experience to guide the implementation and deployment of emerging technologies that help customers make strategic business decisions and improve operational efficiency. I'd also like you to meet Harwinder Singh, Assistant Manager, Pre-Sales at 42Gears. With over 11 years experience in customer onboarding across diverse industries, including transportation and logistics, retail, healthcare, education, and BFSI. He has extensive expertise in device enrollment, migration, configuration, and providing training to enterprise clients. And with that, I will turn it over to Nick to kick things off. Nick?
Thanks, Leanne. Appreciate the intro. So for those of you that are not familiar with MSM Solutions, we're a company based in Memphis, Tennessee, a little over 40 years in operation. We cover a wide variety of verticals. The three verticals that are listed, manufacturing, including warehousing, retail, and healthcare, are some of the verticals that we're going to focus on today that would optimize their operation with 42Gears. Our direct chain of operations includes identifying, tracking, counting, and managing. That includes anything that needs to be barcoded or tracked or kept in inventory. We try to deliver the best value possible through barcoding and RFID technologies, along with custom software tailored to your own operation. That's a little bit about us. I'm going to turn it over to Don to introduce 42Gears.
Hey, fantastic, Nick. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to present today. Tell you a little bit about 42Gears. 42Gears is a company that was founded in 2009. We have our U.S. headquarters in Milpitas, California, with a corporate office out of Bangalore, India. We're a global company with an installation base of over 23,000 customers. And we sell into most verticals. So manufacturing, warehousing, transportation, logistics, and retail is really where we grew up, but we have extensive experience in healthcare and other vertical markets. Our solution is a multi-OS device management platform. So we support all of the leading operating systems, Android, Windows, iOS, Mac OS, Chrome OS, Linux. Along with that, we also support peripheral devices. So one unique thing about 42Gears is our ability to extend our support for printers, RFID readers, wearables, VR goggles, trackers, sensors, and other types of Bluetooth devices. So we really do manage enterprise devices at the app level on content and users. So let me give you a little bit of an understanding of kind of where we're going with the presentation today. our solution, and this is something that happens quite frequently in industries, is there are some common pain points when you're trying to do large scale device deployments, right? So associated with these large scale deployments are all of the different things that you need to do to provision those devices with required applications and content, how to configure key security policies and procedures, trying to understand how best to monitor those devices by tracking the use of those devices throughout your corporate entity, performing compliance requirements and policies on all of those devices, having the ability to reduce the loss of devices and data encryption, and then also trying to install and accessing security policies that prevent unwanted applications on those devices itself. So as an organization, you're challenged with all of these different types of requirements, and a solution that is, like ours can help as these particular devices become more prevalent throughout the use within industries. So the global growing mobile workforce is exploding, right? So the global mobile workforce is expected to achieve about 6.5 billion endpoints by 2030. So 87% of those companies are relying on employees to do work not only on their corporate devices, but also on personal devices. So the challenge for IT groups is to be able to maintain the security of those devices throughout their corporate network. And then supporting regulatory compliance policies as well. So HIPAA for healthcare, PCI compliance for retail, payment processing, data privacy concerns like GDPR for European data privacy is also a compliance requirement for the use of these types of technologies throughout the world. So the challenge for companies that may or may not have a solution like ours is that they need to be able to support these devices through manual processes as their fleet of devices grows. And it becomes a major challenge for IT teams as they're looking to support perhaps up to 5 different operating systems and device types. So where a solution like ours can become prevalent is the ability to do the enforcement across multiple different operating systems. So our particular product, our flagship product, is called Sure MDM. It's a powerful, unified endpoint management solution, and companies can use our solution to be able to enforce a lot of different types of policies. It supports Android, as I mentioned, iOS, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and other types of operating systems. With Sure MDM, you can also secure, manage, and monitor not only company-owned devices, but employee-owned devices, or what are called BYOD technologies. And then through the use of our software, we have the ability to do some things, including what's called a kiosk lockdown. So I want to lock down that device to the specific business applications that are relevant for that worker. And from there, we also have the ability to do secure browsers and also some secure video signage solutions with our software as well. So it's an all-in-one solution, a single platform to be able to provide you the ability to do application management, enterprise mobility management, mobile content management, and manage the identities and the users of the technologies throughout your corporate network. We also support the peripheral devices, as I mentioned earlier. So these become points of exposure for potential malware threats, right? As these printers, RFID readers, smart shelves, VR goggles, and other types of solutions become prevalent within a corporate infrastructure, they can be exposed to malware threats as well. So having a support solution like ours gives you the ability to lock down these devices and protect them from external threats as well. So really, Sure MDM enhances the security of the solutions that you're using, right? At the heart of our product is our security enforcement. So it's enforcing strong password policies, as an example, having the ability to use our Sure MDM ZTNA access, basically a VPN tunnel that allows you to monitor and restrict the internet traffic that your devices are accessing through our software. having an integration perhaps with a multi-factor authentication platform. So the use of our particular software allows you to enforce these security policies on the devices that have been deployed. And it's very important that you take advantage of a solution like ours because it enforces consistent policies. If you try to do this on a device by device basis, let's say you're setting this up and you're doing for one specific type of operating system, you're putting together a compliance policy. Well, that compliance policy might be different from Android than it is from Windows, than it is from iOS. As you have a mixed use environment, it becomes very complicated as an IT support organization to be able to enforce the specific type of encryption and policies that are required. So utilizing a solution like ours gives you the ability to do that. Set it up once, test it for a specific operating system, deploy it across those particular devices, and enforce those policies on a regular basis and update them as needed. So a solution can be very, very powerful to enhance your security protocols. One of the other things that we do with our software is also identify devices and reduce shrinkage. So in retail, as an example, devices go missing all the time. In healthcare, it's very common. In warehousing and transportation, devices go missing. So we have recently introduced an indoor locationing feature that gives you the ability to identify a device and pinpoint its location within 10 feet. So this helps to reduce device loss. It helps to improve worker productivity and gives you the ability to reduce the amount of losses from the investment in the technology that you're making. So many times it may be a situation where a device is put on a shelf, a worker walks away, tries to come back and find the device and they can't. So there's downtime and lost productivity through that effort. With a solution like ours, the IT administrator can identify its last known location. And if a device cannot be found, we can still enforce some geofencing policies and or do a remote buzz to that particular device. Think an Amber Alert. So the device can be found. It might be under a pile of jeans on the retail shelf or in a box on a warehouse shelf. We can identify where that device is through the use of this indoor location tracking solution. Other things that we do through our software is to help meet the regulatory compliances that are very prevalent these days in specific industries. I mentioned the Health Information Privacy Act. That particular HIPAA compliance requirement in healthcare protects patient data. So it's very important that you apply specific compliance policies and security policies around the devices that are used in that industry. Very similar when you're looking at deploying devices for payment processing. So having the ability to enforce security configurations, provide regular OS updates to those devices, be able to provide remote management capabilities, auditing trails, and other data security requirements are extremely important. So using a solution like ours gives you the ability to enforce those compliance policies and make sure that you don't run afoul of any regulatory requirements. So really what our solution is a simplified management tool, an all-in-one pane of glass that gives you the ability to support multiple OS types, a centralized device control pane of glass to give you the ability to enforce compliance reports, put in different types of device security requirements, use our kiosk lockdown tool to make sure that, again, just the relevant business applications are used on those devices, and enforce fleet compliance across the multiple different device types. It's really an important feature to help an IT organization scale as they deploy very large deployments of different types of technologies. It may be Windows in the carpeted office space. We need to have certain compliance policies around our Windows and our Mac OS devices. But if I've got a user that's using an Android, a rugged mobile handheld in the warehouse, he's going to have different requirements. So we're going to enforce different fencing capabilities and different compliance requirements for that user in the warehouse. And then if I have a sales force that's out there using rugged mobile tablets for their business process, they need to have access to our corporate network and perhaps my corporate email right? So a user in the field needs to have a containerized solution that allows them to have access to the corporate business applications that are relevant for their job, maybe some access to personal email access, but containerizing that between the corporate and the personal data. So using a solution like ours is very effective in that manner. What we also do is support this across multiple verticals. As I mentioned earlier, we grew up in transportation logistics, field services, and retail, but our product can be used across multiple industries. So think finished goods, banking, finance, and insurance, education, entertainment, and hospitality. A solution like ours is very valuable for all of these different types of industry requirements. We've had a lot of success. As I mentioned, we have over 23,000 customers across the globe. We've had extreme capabilities of being able to support customers in healthcare. Spectrum of Hope has deployed our solution on tablets for bedside entertainment and other types of applications within healthcare. Blue Line Transportation has enforced strict fleet compliance requirements for their over-the-road trucking solution using our software. Snapchat has deployed our 42Gears Sure MDM solution to support all of their Linux devices. They had a problem in finding a solution that would actually support Linux, and our product has that capability, so they were extremely excited to find our solution. Pfizer has been a long-term customer of ours, and they're deploying our solution on multiple products used within their manufacturing facilities. Sobeys is a retailer in Canada that uses our 42Gears Sure MDM solution at multiple retail locations throughout the country. Harbor Freight is also a large retailer that uses our software as well. Builders First Source came to us and used our solution to be able to integrate to a single sign-on solution where they needed to have the ability to integrate with their Okta single sign-on platform. And utilizing our integration tools, we're able to incorporate a full, complete solution using our Sure MDM mobile device management in association with the Okta user identity management solution to be able to, again, restrict access to the device, have that particular user have their own corporate information, email, and data when they log into the device. So it's used over multiple shifts at this company as an example. So user A on shift 1 has access to their corporate data and their email. User 2 on shift 2 can then log into the device. The previous user's data is wiped clean from the device during that particular transition. As the user 2 logs in, it has his own corporate email and corporate applications. So utilizing a solution like that was very important for Builders First Source. We've had great success in deploying a solution for them. And then Circle K has also deployed nearly 10,000 licenses with us to support their retail operations in North America and in Canada. So at this point, what I'd like to do is give you a flavor of the software. The best thing I can do is show you our software through the use of our technologies. Our customers are really taking advantage to be able to support multiple business requirements. I'd like to introduce Harwinder Singh as our lead pre-sales engineer. He can share his screen and show you a little bit around our console. Harwinder, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Don. How it looks like and its features. So first of all, getting access to Sure MDM console would be very easy. You just have to go to 42Gears website and click on the free trial. You will have access to the Sure MDM console. So first of all, I would like to explain about what Sure MDM is. So it's a unified endpoint management. It's the platform where you can enroll all your endpoints, iOS, Mac OS, Android, Windows. We support Windows legacy devices as well. In addition to that, Linux and peripheral devices, any type of printers, Bluetooth headsets, or maybe smart bulbs can be enrolled and managed through the Sure MDM console. So the enrollment procedure is pretty simple. You just have to click on the enroll and tab on the top, and it has the guide to all the platforms which can be enrolled. So I would talk about Android as of now. Most of the things which I specify in Android are applicable for other operating systems as well. So enrolling Android devices is simple by just scanning the QR code and the devices are enrolled to the SureMDM console. In case of bulk enrollment, SureMDM offers two options for Android devices. Zero-touch enrollment offered by Google, KME enrollment offered by Samsung. So these two type of enrollments would help end user to enroll the devices when the devices are taken out of the box, connected to any network. The device will start enrolling to the SureMDM console automatically. So this would also help in the asset management, where in case the devices are wiped for some reason in the field, the device would enroll to the SureMDM console again. In case of iOS, uh, Apple Business Manager can enroll the devices. In case of Windows devices, Windows Autopilot is available out of the box in the SureMDM console. Now, once the devices are enrolled, we can specify the devices in a specific region. Like I have created certain groups here, a few groups as per my choice for the demonstration purposes, and I have enrolled 2 devices. So these groups can be the warehouse locations and can be the region where the devices are. So I have 2 devices here. The status shows online, and both are the rugged devices. One is the Zebra, another one is Honeywell. SureMDM supports any type of Android devices. No matter which make and model it is, we can manage them. So once the devices are enrolled, we read all the parameters from the devices, like the device model, the operating system, the agent which is running on the device, the version of it, a few parameters related to the network, like the MAC address of the devices, the ISP provided IP address, the local IP address, the serial number, Wi-Fi signal strength, very crucial information in case of warehouse industry. Wi-Fi devices are connected to, the security type of the Wi-Fi. If there is a mobile SIM card, we read the SIM card details like the signal strength, the SIM serial number, the phone number, etc. Below, the battery details, again, a very important parameter. In case the devices are in the field, you should know what percentage of batteries they have. And SureMDM can generate the analytics for each of these details. Below, the memory information, the program memory is the RAM of the device, internal storage, how much is in the total, and how much is left over among that. So we read all this information. Now, in order to troubleshoot the devices, we need to take a remote. So remote is inbuilt functionality, which is web-based remote support. As soon as you click on it, it will open the remote of the device, and I would be able to see what end user is doing. In addition to the remote click key injections, we can also call the user. While we are remoting into the device, looking at the issue and trying to resolve it, we can talk to the end user and we can just explain the scenario. So, and this calling functionality is inbuilt, no third-party telecom provider interventions required in between. This is the direct call between the agent and the SureMDM console. The file manager allows administrators to upload, download any type of files, the log files, or create directories. Administrator can copy paste the text to and from the devices. Terminal would provide access to any type of directories, and admin can read the files using certain commands here. So now that we are done with the remote troubleshooting, let's talk about how to locate the devices. So in order to locate, SureMDM also has inbuilt Google Map integrated in it. So which means we will get the pinpoint location where the devices are at the moment. This is one of my device which I'm going to use for the demonstration today, and I have parameterized this device. As the circle you can see, this is a fence. I can have the devices within a small fence. As soon as the devices leaves, I can apply a certain operation, or I can buzz the device. So that means the devices would always remains within the premises where they are supposed to be. Once you click on the batch, it would give us the detail about the location where the devices are. Currently, this device is at this building, this address. What time the device updates the information, updated the information, the longitude and the latitude parameter when the information was updated, what was the battery percentage. These details are very important for the IT operations. Let's say the devices are within the warehouse, they started the shift. If the battery was 50%, end user won't be productive. So that is the reason these informations are very important. If we want to track back where end user have been in a specific time, so Sure MDM stores the location history as well for a particular device with the timestamp. And when we click on the play, it will move the device from point A to point B. If the device has taken a certain route, in case of the field users, the Sure MDM will show you which route end user has taken. So this is about the location tracking. Now let me take you to the policies where we can enforce the security compliances on the devices. So for demonstration, I have created one of these, which contains the device configurations and the security as well. Let's talk about the password. Using Sure MDM, we can enforce the password complexity on the devices. So end user just have to follow the same complexity in order to have the password set. Anything below the complexity set, end user cannot have that password set on the devices. System settings. So I would say almost all the Android system settings parameters has been configured here, and which can be changed remotely on the devices. Example, safe mode, factory reset. We can disable these two options on the device. End user cannot boot the devices into safe mode, as well as no one can factory reset the devices through the settings menu. Similarly, adding the users can be disabled. We can also enable the auto time zone. If the device application login has to be time sensitive, then time zone should be enabled on the devices. A custom message on the device screen can be displayed when the devices are not in use. On the lock screen, the message will be displayed. Similar to this, there are a lot of other options. I would say all of the system settings has been updated here, and we can configure it. A few more security parameters like USB debugging can be disabled. And we can also control the application uninstallation by the end user. Now, talking about how to install and upgrade the apps on the devices. So there are various ways. The first way is using the Play Store. So using Sure MDM console, end user can install and configure the application through the Play Store itself. So the configuration is called the manage config. Most of the developers these days, they are opting to implement the managed configuration because Android 11 and above, Google has restricted the access of the scope storage. So the settings file cannot be transferred in the scope storage. So this is an alternative which Google has come up with, and Sure MDM supports it out of the box. So this configuration would allow an administrator to configure any application parameter. In this case, it is a velocity app. I'm going to configure certain parameters in this application, and I will save it. On the next screen, it is asking me to whether I want the application to be silently installed or just show it in the Play Store to the user so that they can install it. I selected silent install. That means the app would be installed, and on the next screen, I'm granting all the permissions of that application. That way, end user just have to launch and start using the app. App is installed, configured, and all the permissions are granted remotely without manual intervention. Similar to this, any application which is available in the Play Store, or if you have a APK with you, those apps can be installed through the profile section. So under network configurations, admin can change the proxies on the devices, the DNSs can be changed, the branding can be changed, and the most important is the certificate management. The certificates can be installed on the devices. If you have the static certificate, root CAs can be installed. If you have a certificate authority, Sure MDM supports Microsoft certificate authority, Sectigo, and Sure MDM has its own certificate authority if you want to use. So once the certs are added here, you assign the profile to the device, all the configurations are done. Wi-Fi's can be configured on the devices, APNs can be configured, administrator can transfer the files to the device. It can be the brochures, the new policies implemented for the employees. So all those important documents, and the information can be delivered to the devices. On the device, end user would see Sure MDM App Store. They have to launch it. They have access to all the allowed files to them. VPN security is most important these days. So 42Gears has its own inbuilt VPN solution. We call it as ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access, which supports split tunneling, which is the advanced version of VPN. So in this, the VPN client, which is Sure Access, which will be installed on the devices automatically, and we can configure whether we want that VPN to be always on or on demand. End user can turn it on or turn it off when they need it. CIDR list can be updated here. The FQD and fully qualified domain names, which are allowed. So what we want end user to access, we can update all that in here in this list, and which domains should not be accessible by the user on the devices should be specified here. And we can also specify how many applications should use the VPN on the devices. We do not want all the device traffic to route through the VPN tunnel. We only want the specific apps. In this case, a telnet client, which is Velocity. This is one of the example. It can be multiple apps. I have just added one. You can add multiple applications here. So that way, we have enrolled the devices to the MDM, as well as we are using the VPN capabilities, which is in-house. You do not need to be dependent on third-party VPN solutions. OEM config, another important configuration for the ruggedized devices. The Zebra, I would take an example of Zebra as of now, but we support all other OEMs. Any OEM who has the OEM config implemented, we have it over here. So let's take an example of Zebra. If we want to configure anything related to the licensing or any parameter on the devices, can be configured easily from here. You save it, assign it to the device, the configurations would be done remotely. Now let me take you to other parameters which can be managed using jobs. So under job, we have additional configurations and the policies which can be managed, like the compliances. So under Android, we can sideload the applications. If you have the APK's homegrown applications, we can install it or sideload or upgrade them on the devices. We can transfer the files to the devices in any location. We can broadcast the text messages to the devices, execute the scripts on the device, and alert messages. Very important. So in few industries, I have seen a use case where before the start of the shift, admin would like to broadcast certain messages. It could be the shift schedule, or it can be any type of warning messages. So all these can be configured in this, and it would be displayed on the devices, and end user cannot avoid it because we can force it on the device screen. As soon as they pick the device, the message will be on the top. So talking about the other capabilities we have is the compliances. So using compliance, we can limit the device between certain operating systems. Let's say if the device has Android 10, and I want the devices to be between Android 10 and Android 12. So in the compliance, we can set if the devices are equipped with the SIM cards, the devices should not, end user should not take the SIM card out of the devices. If they do, you want to be notified, or you want to notify them on the devices a warning message. So you can have this compliance implemented on the devices. So as soon as the SIM card is taken out or swapped, they will be prompted with the warning, and you would have an email that the device with the device name and the SIM serial number. Similar to this, we have other compliances based on the need. The compliance can be implemented on the devices. Now, let me walk you through a kiosk mode, which is very important on the device side. So we would never leave the devices open in the field with all the settings and the application accessible to the end user. We would need the devices to be with limited access to the apps. So that's what I have here. So kiosk mode, which is a sure lock application, which is inbuilt app in the agent itself, we can invoke that. And on top of that, we can allow certain URLs, like I have done this, and we can allow applications as well. So this is just example I have taken for the demonstration. And at the bottom of this, in the middle of the screen, we have the logo. So the entire layout can be changed with the HTML layout. We can increase or decrease the application size, the application icon, and the placement of the apps. So this kiosk mode would never exit even if the devices are reboot. And we can also display certain parameters on the devices, like the user it is allocated to, the IP address, the serial number, the MAC address, anything which can be informative for the end user or the administrators can be displayed on top. Now, let me walk you through a few advanced capabilities we have. So in the Sure MDM console, we have implemented indoor location tracking, where your warehouse floor plan can be uploaded, and we can track the devices within 4 walls. So this is one of our office floor in Bangalore, India. This is our HQ. We have uploaded the floor map. So I have a small video demonstrating how the indoor location tracking works. So the user is having a device with them, and currently the user is at this spot. So as soon as they start moving, the device will move along with them on the map, and we can trace the devices within the floor where they are at the moment. On the top, as you can see, the floor changed because the user has changed the floor from the ground to the first. As soon as they are moving on the map, immediately the cursor. So as you can see, there is no lag between the device tracking. So I would pause the video. So as soon as the user goes to different places, the cursor will keep on moving along with him. So this is indoor location tracking. We have other advanced capabilities as well. For rugged devices, Zebra Lifeguard upgrade for Zebra devices has been integrated, where the firmwares can be updated on the devices remotely, and end user would not need to get the devices back to the warehouse or the IT admins to have their devices updated. Under enterprise, single sign-on can be configured for the Sure MDM console login. You can integrate your IDPs like Ping1, Okta, Azure. With Sure MDM, the users which you have in there, they can log into the Sure MDM console, and dynamically the roles will be assigned to the user. Sure MDM supports ServiceNow integration. So if you want to create any tickets through the Sure MDM console itself, that is supported out of the box. Cisco IS integration is supported, where any device which falls out of compliance, your IT admin can block the devices within the network. To block the device in the network, you should have the compliance status with you. So Sure MDM will send the compliance status to Cisco IS, and admin can have the automated policies where everything will be automated. As soon as the devices are out of compliance, your network Cisco IS tool knows about it, and it will kick the device out of the network, making your warehouse or your retail store secure. Similar to this, we have NAC integration, which is with the Aruba ClearParse. It's a tool by HP. So this integration can also be done. So custom properties are available in the Sure MDM console. Custom property would offer a lot of insights about if there are certain files on the devices, and we would need to read the file and update the information in the Sure MDM console. Reading file from each device would be difficult if we want to take a remote and read one by one. Instead, admin can create a custom property, write a small JavaScript, and that script will read the properties from each device, any type of files you have, any information from the devices, and upload it to the Sure MDM console from all the devices. And we can have this periodically read. So the frequency is set. So I have created a small JavaScript here which will read a certain parameter from the system settings, whether the network provided time is enabled or not. So this is a very useful information. We can also write a file on the devices using the custom property JavaScripts. In addition to that, I would like to show you the user management parameters. So under user management, so all the MDM configurations which I have demonstrated you today, we have a role for it. So admin can create a role for the user and can assign that role. Let's say the user should not have access to delete the devices. So I would uncheck this, save it, allocate it to the device. So as soon as the user log in, the user would not be able to perform certain actions, and they would only be able to see the devices which are granted for them. So under the device group set. So let's say the user who is in North America, in Canada, and the user in US. So the Canadian user should not be able to manage or see the devices which are in USA group. So we can create the roles and assign to the users. So it's highly customizable. Talking about the license management. So under the license management, we have the capabilities like we will be able to see how many total licenses are assigned, how many are consumed. So these are the device licenses. So good part about Sure MDM is the licenses are not assigned to the devices. That means if one device is retired, no longer needed in the system, you can delete the device from the MDM console and you can enroll another device. And the same license would be allocated to another device. So think licenses available, and Sure Access, which is the VPN licenses available. I would like to show you MTD, which is Mobile Threat Defense. So deliberately, I have injected certain malwares on this device. So as you can see, there is one threat detected on this device. That's why you have the symbol like so. And there is another device where we have another symbol, which means the second device is secure and first device has something wrong with it. So if I want to see a report what is wrong, I just have to go to the system scan and it will show me all the details when the scan was executed and how many threats were detected. And if I want to take the action, I can have the informed uh, uh, decision made while creating the policy. Any threat detected, it should be deleted immediately. I can create such policies, assigned it to the device. For demonstration purposes, I skipped it. So that's why we see one threat on this device.
It was an outstanding web demo. You do a fantastic job as always. So really appreciate you showing everyone around the console itself. Everyone you can find out, and the demonstration did exhibit that we have a very powerful solution. It gives you the ability to really control the security policies on all of the devices within your corporate network. Has the ability to enforce certain user roles. Single sign-on integration and integration to back-end service ticketing systems are available through our API-based technology. So there's a lot of features that are available within our software, and hopefully you'll find that it could be a great opportunity for you to evaluate our software as a potential solution for your company. Now, we certainly understand that there are competitive products in the market. And one of the challenges for us as a company is many times somebody might be using a competitive MDM solution or a series of different types of products to support all of the different operating systems used within their corporate environment. So the challenge is, how do we migrate from one MDM provider to the Sure MDM platform? And some of these challenges obviously have to do with, the distinct enterprise devices. They might be both company-owned and employee-owned devices. There's certain features that are available on those devices, and they have been defined by policies within that mobile device management solution. Obviously, there's a cost associated with switching from one platform to the other, and that will disrupt your workflow. One of the things that we do very, very seriously is provide a project migration plan. So Harwinder and his team do a very extensive process to help you just move from one platform to our platform without disrupting your workflow. And that could be, we will define these particular policies in advance. We'll deploy and test in our trial environment. And then when we're ready to move everything, it might be on a store by store, warehouse by warehouse basis, as an example. So we'll go through a transfer of those particular devices on a Saturday night, as an example, non-business hours, and make sure that everything's tested and fully configured so that when workers come back in on Monday morning, there's no disruption to their workflow. So we go through a very defined process with that. We do offer some competitive swap out savings incentives with additional months of licensing and free professional services in a migration effort as well. So we do have some various different ways. We've recently moved hundreds of thousands of licenses off of other MDM platforms to the 42Gears Sure MDM environments with minimal disruption. So we certainly have experience in doing that and looking forward to working with any potential customer that's interested in evaluating our software. So on the next screen, we'll talk a little bit about an offer that we are providing to our customers through this webinar as well. So Nick and I have talked about a way that we can provide an incentive to customers to take advantage of our software. What we'll do is a free needs assessment. So we'll have engineers like Harwinder and the team at MSM Solutions work with you as the end user to really define what your specific success criteria might be in deploying a mobile device management solution like ours. It may be, I need to integrate to my Microsoft Entra single sign-on solution. I need to be able to support this specific wireless network certificate for Cisco. I need to be able to do these specific types of application updates for my warehouse management system or my transportation management solution. I need to have these specific types of devices supported, be they printers and RFID readers. So what we'll do is we'll really work with you up front to identify what your specific requirements are. And then Harwinder and our team can then tailor a web demo based on your needs. So we've defined the 5 or 6 things that are mission critical to you. And as we go through a web demo, we'll show you how we can support that with our Sure MDM platform. And then from there, the next step would be to provide an opportunity to do a proof of concept test with you. So working with that dedicated systems engineer that helps do that initial web demo, we'll set up a free trial offer for you for a free 30-day trial. And during that time, we'll enroll specific types of devices and build what's called a golden image for those devices. So I'm going to install, a Zebra MC9400 mobile handheld for my warehouse applications. When I deploy that MC9400, it needs to support these specific applications. From there, it needs to have these configuration settings on the device to be able to support these business workflow requirements. So we'll set up that golden image on that MC9400. We'll test it, make sure it works properly. And then from there, once we have that golden image, we can then deploy those policies to all of the fleet of 9400s that you might be having in use wherever they may be in the world. Through our software, we can push those updates over the air to each of those devices. So that's the concept of going through a proof of concept test, is to fully test the configuration requirements for each device, make sure that we provide the training for your engineers to understand how to do that on our platform, help you from the perspective of how do we go to market with this from a go live perspective, and then from there follow through with that concept as you deploy our software. So our engineer stays with you through that entire process and then helps you in a post-sales mode to transition that to our support engineers as well. So we're really involved from day one, from start to finish, to make sure that you have a successful implementation. So Nick and I are also offering a special discount for anyone that's attended this webinar and is mentioning the special discount. We will provide an additional 15% licensing discount for our software platform. So really looking forward to working with the team at MSM Solution to be able to provide a comprehensive solution to the customers that have attended this webinar. We thank you so much for your attendance. So at this point, Leanne, I'll turn it over to you for any questions that we might have.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. I do have a couple that have popped through here during the session. The first one is 42Gears a cloud or on-premise software?
We do offer both. We are primarily a cloud solution. We recommend our cloud software platform for a couple of reasons. One is that you will always have our latest and greatest software features. So we implement updates to our software probably 3 to 4 or 5 times a year. And as we enhance our application, if you have our cloud-based solution, you always have our latest and our greatest feature set. But we understand that there are certain industries, banking and finance as an example, government agencies, that need to have an on-premise solution behind their firewall. So we do have the ability to offer an on-premise subscription as well. That requires a setup of a Linux server to support our software. So there are some professional services fees that we charge for that upfront server configuration, but we do offer that as an option.
Great. Let's see. I use free software like Microsoft SCCM for our laptops and EloView for our Elo tablets. Why would I need 42Gears?
Good question. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of tools that are out there. Some of the OEM manufacturers like Elo do have their own software utilities to support their kiosk tablets. SCCM is a Microsoft tool that comes available with your Microsoft 365 licensing. So they are free. But what happens if you add different types of technologies? Let's say I want to deploy a Samsung tablet that's on an Android operating system or an iPad, or perhaps I want to also support a different type of printer or something like that. The challenge becomes now I need to use multiple tools to support all of the devices throughout my corporate infrastructure. So while the SCCM does great for your laptops and Elo does great for your Elo tablets, now I've got something. What if I have to do a Mac device or an iPad? Now I need another tool. And then I need another tool to be able to support that printer. So the great thing about 42Gears Sure MDM is you have a single console, supports all of the different operating systems. And then you can use our platform to support the compliance policies and security features that we talked about during this webinar across all of those different OS types.
Thanks, Don. We have time for one more question here, so I'm just going to grab one. With your indoor location tracking, can you brick a device if someone takes it out of the building?
Certainly, but what we probably want to do is enforce some policies. We have geofencing as part of our indoor location tracking. So let's say you're a retail worker. Sometimes it's very common for somebody, hey, I forgot that I had the mobile computer in my smock as I walked out of the Target store, as an example, right? So you don't want to brick that device. What you want to do is alert that user to bring that device back. So we can put an alert message on the screen of the handheld to say, return it back to XYZ company, and enforce that. So let's say they don't bring it back. And now it's, over time, a period of time, we give them an hour or two. We can then start remote wiping those devices, and then eventually make it so that they can't use that product or sell it on eBay. So there are policies that we can put in place, but the first thing is really to make sure it's not a mistake before bricking, but go through some notification to make sure that that worker can bring that device back.
Great, thanks, Don. Okay, well, that's about all we have time for. I'm going to turn this over to Nick to close it out. Nick?
Thanks, Leanne. Don Harwinder, thank you so much for all the information. I think it was very helpful for people to understand what 42Gears does and specializes in, and how we can work together with them. Thank you to everyone that took time out of their day to jump on this webinar and listen in. We really hope that you found this session informative and helpful to you. If you want to, you can reach out to me. I will be your direct point of contact to get in touch with 42Gears. And like Don mentioned, we can get on another call and go through your own specific needs and see how we can get you set up using 42 Gears. So thank you all for your time and have a great rest of your day.